What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome to Collectors Gone Digital. My name is Josh, and on today's episode, we're going to be covering a platform in the Web3 space, and that's Nifty Island. So I want to talk about specific features they offer that I think would be ideal in the VeVeVerse. So for the gamers, the builders, this one is for you. Grab a drink, grab a snack, sit back, relax, and enjoy. So first off, you guys might have heard the name, but if you don't know much about them, Nifty Island is a community-driven gaming platform where players can build and play games together, explore player-created islands, and compete for compelling rewards. Play any game that you can imagine and engage in prize-fueled competitions. Now, heading over to the website here, as of roughly 2 months ago, Nifty Island did enter open beta. It is open though, okay? So it's free to play for anyone. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to toss as much content as I can on screen. And we're going to start diving into some of these features that I think are ideal for VeVe here. Now, one of the first features I want to highlight here is their avatar system, okay? And if you guys aren't familiar with this, they have turned full 2D PFP NFT collections into 3D rigged avatars, okay? We got Bored Ape Yacht Club, we got Pudgy Penguins. Another interesting one here is the 𝗙𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and this one's interesting because we've actually seen them used inside Cavernous as avatars. And just looking at some of the IP with compatible avatars here, we got a 𝗘𝗿𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗍, Clone X, Bored Ape Yacht Club, like I said before, Broadside, and it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And there's a lot, guys. There's a lot. So I'll make sure to toss the website in the description down below. You guys may own some of these and may not even know that you can use them as avatars. So check it out. And yeah, 𝗘𝗿𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is another one, right? But yeah, check it out. You might be in for a surprise. Now, moving over to the next tab on their website here, it showcases different islands made within the game. We are going to touch a little bit more on the building side in one sec here, but the reason I want to point this out is because it's structured the same way I think the VeVeVerse is going to be structured. We're going to have our islands or different worlds that people build. And then moving to the next tab on their website, you have their marketplace, okay? User-generated content, folks. This is no different from the marketplace I expect in the VeVeVerse, where you can upload your own 3D models and sell them to other users. That's exactly what you're seeing right here. We got mazes, bridges, entire structures, Ferris wheels, right? The whole works. But as a user of Nifty, I can hop into this marketplace, pick up this house, and then use it on my island. So this should give you a much better idea of how things should work in the future. Look at this, full basketball court. Play. I mean, anything and everything that you can think of, people will create. I mean, look at some of this furniture. Look at these designs. So random. We got a coral reef tunnel. A butterfly with a bullet? Okay, that's really random, but proves my point. Now, to be clear, I don't expect this marketplace to be available anytime soon with VeVe. But when it comes to user-generated content, the world building or the home building, that's only the one part. The other part is the marketplace and what you guys are looking at on screen, assets that people can create, upload, and then sell. So if we hop in game here, the first thing I want to point out is the way you build games. And I think the way they've implemented this is spot on. So when you create a game in Nifty Island, the game is not the island, okay? It's a section of your island where you choose to build the game. So on screen is an example of a little game that I built, and it's just a little battle map. Now they have various game modes. So this one is set up for TDM, Team Deathmatch. They have free-for-all, Capture the Flag, and then I think there's 1 or 2 others. Now it's very simple to build out the game, and you follow a series of 3 steps. So the first step, once you build your map, is just placing the spawn points. You place them all, and then you click Next. The next step that'll pop up now is placing all of the weapons and health bars and stuff like that around the map. You're going to do it the exact same way you did with the spawn points, place them all, and when you're happy, just click Next. Now, depending on the game mode, let's say it's Capture the Flag, your next step is now to place the flags. So you're going to place one flag for one team, the other flag for the other, and then click Next. And then the final step, and this is what I like the most, is you're going to place the terminal to start the game. So again, going back to my comment about how the game is not your entire world, when you spawn, you have the option of just running around, building, doing your thing. But if you want to go and play that game, you run over to where you built it and click Start on the console. So you can build 20 different games in one world. You could have a team deathmatch map there, free-for-all map there, capture the flag map there, and your entire space isn't limited to just one game mode, which I really like. Another neat thing about this is that it helps with the whole community aspect, right? Because you can choose to play the game, or you can choose to sit on the sideline and just watch people play the game. It's not something you're forced to do if you're in the space. And I mean, you don't even need to watch the game. You could be doing something completely different in the same space. So it allows you to create a community in your space comprised of people doing different things. Now, another feature I want to point out here, and it may seem like a small one, but I can tell you right now, it is not. This is a big, big, big thing when it comes to building. And that's having some sort of magnet feature that locks items together much easier. So this is what I mean by this. I'm going to toss it on screen now. I can't remember seeing this in Cavernous' free trial, which is why I'm bringing this up. But if I spawn a little platform, I can then take my cursor, drag it to the side of that platform, and it allows me to attach another one evenly to the side, okay? So it's not like I need to line it up perfectly. It just allows me to drag and drop pretty much. Then let's say I want to attach another one. I drag my cursor to the side of the block that I just placed, and it just attaches another block. Now there is a measurement tool, and there is a way to toggle your angles inside the VeVeVerse so that you're placing things on like a 90-degree or 45-degree angle. Those things are much needed features as well, but being able to lock items together or turn on some sort of magnet feature so that when you do place items in the world, they just automatically kind of suck together. But being able to lock items together, I think, is an essential feature to be able to build fast. And I'll tell you something, some of you guys know about my history with Halo Reach. That's a game that goes back, 10 plus years. This was a feature available in that game, okay? So this is nothing new. It's been available in games for a long time. And I think that if I have a bunch of simple shapes, like a bunch of cubes, for example, there should be a feature that allows me to drag one and attach it to another very easily. The only way shouldn't be me just eyeballing it. Now, another feature they've included that I really like here is scanning. And scanning comes from this little robot companion that you have always following you. I know we're not going to have that in the VeVeVerse. But the reason I like this scanning feature is because you can be on the opposite side of the island from whatever you built. And you can scan across the entire island, point the scanner at a certain object, and it'll tell you exactly what that object is. If it's an object that you can edit, it also allows you to make edits on whatever object you're scanning, regardless of how far you are away from it. You have a big city that you built inside the VeVeVerse. Let's say Gothic City, for example. After hours of building, you have hundreds of different elements inside that world. I know for a fact that inside Cavernous, you have a tab that will show you every single element inside your world. However, you need to scroll through that entire tab. If we had the ability to just look at an object and scan it to find out more or to make changes to that object, I think that would be ideal. And I'm not talking about just clicking on the object like you can inside Cavernous to move it up and down, okay? Because that's different. If I click on an object to move it up and down, I mean, it's not going to tell me anything about that object. On top of, let's say, for example, you want to texture that object and you're across the world and you have a bunch of other elements near that object, it's probably going to be a little difficult to not texture all the items around it if your cursor takes up a larger space of what you're looking at from far away, if that makes sense. So picture you're in the vault on the app, you put a bunch of collectibles on the balcony, and then you fly far away and you try to click one of those collectibles. Your thumb is probably going to click one of the other collectibles in the process of selecting the one that you want. So the scanning feature allows you to just point and choose, as opposed to you having to click the tab that shows you all the elements in the world and then scroll through them all to try and find what you're looking for. So moving on, I want to talk about upgrading worlds because I think this has some potential here. One of the upgrades that you can make to your island is expanding the island itself. So for example, my island right now has a radius of 74 by 74 meters. So you're limited to how many items and objects you can actually place inside your world. Right now, mine is 20,000. But again, I can pay in-game currency to be able to place more than that limit. One of the features we talked about was being able to create your own games, from free-for-alls to capture the flag modes. I have a limit inside my world in terms of how many games I can create right now. That limit is 4. I can also unlock certain customization features for the island. So for the sky or the ocean, in my world, I've changed the ocean to purple. as opposed to blue. You can also change the time of day. Now, when it comes to some of those customization features I just said, all of them are available inside the VeVeVerse. But in this case, with Nifty's approach, they've been a little bit more gamified. So let me know in the comment section down below which one you prefer. And the last feature I want to bring up here is teleporters. And teleporters, guys, are essential when it comes to building. And teleporters are so fun when building and creating worlds. You can do so much with them. Now, there's two teleporting features that Nifty has. One is a teleporter itself that you can place around. And then two is being able to actually teleport your avatar based on where your cursor is placed. Now, inside Cavernous in the VeVeVerse, we are going to be able to just fly around, switch between fly mode and avatar mode. But I think having a feature where you can just kind of look around, click, point where you want to be, and you just teleport there would also be really beneficial. Beneficial in the sense that not only is it easier to move around, but it also makes building much faster. Well, ladies and gents, that's going to conclude today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. Bit of a different video today, guys, but hopefully it gives you a better idea of where things are heading with all this VeVeVerse stuff, and there being the two main parts with the user-generated content. So you have the world building, the space building, and then you're going to have the marketplace where people are going to be selling assets. A little bit more down the line, but it's what to expect in the future. But if you enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see in a future episode. And as for our next, I'll catch you then.